I authored a book in 2006, and the book is a memoir of my life, and the story actually ends in 2001. So we have got a lot that's happened in the last 25 years. But one thing that I have been steady about every single Saturday morning, no guts, no story, whether it was Eagle teleconferencing in 2003, 4, 5, 6, Facebook came along, now Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. This is everywhere every Saturday morning. And you know what's great about it? It's free. But here's what I will tell you. There's so much free information out there, but a lot of people are not teachable. They are not coachable. They don't have that desire to get better. And here's what I know. You can ask yourself a few questions today while we're together on this live stream, and you can redirect the sail of your life, and everything can change and get better. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. Do I have permission to ask you some hard questions today? Yes or yes? Say yes. I'm going to ask you some hard questions, and I want you to really think about your life and know yourself. You know, as a mom, we tend to take care of everyone around us. As a wife, you tend to take care of everyone around you. As a grandmother, you tend to take care of everyone around you. But I want to ask you some really hard questions. If you had to answer this and it was in front of the whole world and God himself, how would you answer this question? What makes life worthwhile? Drop in the comments and let me know what makes life worthwhile. I would love to know your answer to this question. Now, I'm going to show the comments as I'm asking this question. And if you do comment, your comment could be shared. So this is participation, right? What makes your life worthwhile? And for me, I truly think the answer to everything is peace of mind and family. So family makes my life worthwhile, but I've had a lot of times where I was with family and I didn't have peace of mind. So I think all of us would agree. We want the same thing, right? We want to be loved and we want to love. We want to experience and laugh. We want to feel excitement about our future and something that we're working towards. And now I have a really big question, not just what makes your life worthwhile, but what makes your life work well? What makes your life work well? Now, when I think about that, what makes my life work well is discipline and working towards a worthy ideal, right? So when you don't have a goal and you don't have a dream and you're not looking forward to something, you might feel stuck. You might be with family, no peace of mind, no plan, complete chaos. Maybe you're codependent and you find yourself in the middle of everyone else's mess. You know, you've got to have a plan that makes your life work well. And now let's talk about something that everybody is feeling. What is your economic plan? Like, what is your plan to actually have freedom, peace of mind, leave a legacy, build something that will be around generations to come? Like, do you have an economic plan? Because what I see, most people are like a ship without a rudder. They're floating around in a sea that depends on what the government does and who the president is and what the state and the county does, what your taxes are on your properties. Like, everyone is bitching and complaining and blaming. But here's the reality. It doesn't matter who the president is. It's not going to fix your economic plan. And it doesn't matter who gets elected to be the mayor or if the property taxes go up or down. You're still going to have to pay taxes, right? And you're still going to have to wake up every day and have a plan and work the plan. Most people don't even have a plan. They will spend more time planning their next trip or family vacation than they will planning their financial future and disciplining with delayed gratification to to actually see those goals come to fruition. I could tell you so many stories, and you guys would think I was lying. But this week, we took a trailer, had a bunch of stuff to Texas, had a huge event. Dave drove back to the lake house, dropped off the trailer. I got back here, flew in on a plane, got in my Escalade. Lola and I went to get some good fresh groceries, and our transmission was slipping. And she looked scared because it was like, and we had been driving on some back roads trying to find this baby deer. And then she was like on the way to the grocery store. And she said, is something wrong? Like, what is going to happen? And I said, I think it's just my car slipping. I looked down at my mileage, and I had 124,440 miles on this car. Now, right away, I was like, I'm going to have to get a new car. And when I got back to the house, Dave said, we should probably shop for you a new car. And then I thought about it for a minute. What is my plan? What is my economic plan? What is my discipline? What makes my life work well? What makes my life worthwhile? And where do I want to go? Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. I probably do need a dependable car. Usually when I'm on the road, I'm with Dave and he's driving and he has a dependable truck. But a car doesn't make my life work well, and it doesn't make my life worthwhile, and it doesn't make me achieve the things I want to do and go where I want to go and build the mission that I want to build. So I opted to get the car to the Chevy dealership, pay for a new transmission, and I'm going to put another 100,000 miles on that car. Do you want to know why? Because I know what I want, and I know how I'm going to get there. And I know what fills up my heart, and it's not a new Cadillac Escalade. So, question for all of you. How many of you would feel pressured to get the newest phone, the newest car, the crib, the house? You got to flex in front of your family and your neighbors and everyone in the HOA, at the golf course, or at the office. When you know yourself, when you truly know yourself, and you know what makes your life worthwhile, you know what makes your life work well, you know what is your economic plan. These questions, answer these. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? I love your comment, Michelle. Used to, not anymore, because we learn from our mistakes. We get older, we get wisdom, not because of the times we were winning, because the times when we were getting our ass kicked, whether it's our health, our finances, our relationships, our career. You only grow when you fail. So don't be afraid of all your failures. And let's talk about this. Where do you want to go? Drop in the comments. What are some places you want to go? Drop in the comments. What do you want to see? I want to take my mom and go to Niagara Falls. I don't know why. I just want to. I went there once without her. I missed her. There was a Hard Rock casino right across from the falls. My mom loves to gamble. That's one of the only things she really enjoys to go out and do. So I told Dave, I'm going to bring our moms here and we're going to go to the falls and we're going to go down there in the boats. And then we're going to take them to the casino. That year, we lost Dave's mom shortly after that. And I had that on my bucket list and I didn't do it. So I'm going to do it. Where do you want to go? What do you want to see? Now, you guys are going to laugh at this. I could go anywhere in the world. I could. I don't really love the international travel, but I'll go because it's on my kids' bucket list and I want to do things with them. I want to see all 50 states, right? I want to see all 50 states in America. I want to drive down the route in California that I've never drove. I want to see the redwood forest. I want to go to Montana. I want to go to all of the parks. I want to see everything, right? A lot of people have acres of diamonds right in their backyard and they've never been there. But one of the things that I really want to go and do, my daughter Brooklyn, every day on Alexa plays Morgan Wallen radio. And we have a parrot that knows the songs and sings Morgan Wallen with Brooklyn. And there's a certain song that me and Brooklyn always kind of had as our song. And then Lola and Chance got hooked on the new Morgan Wallen album, and she knew a bunch of the words to the song. And so we always laugh in the kitchen and we sing Morgan Wallen. And I always say, I'm going to take you to Morgan Wallen. Well, last week he was in Denver, Colorado, and I could have went and I could have got the expensive seats, but I was disciplining myself. I was at an event. I was in the room. I was networking until 1 a.m. I was at the meeting. I was buying someone lunch. I was learning. I was growing. But all my friends left the event and flew to Denver and they went to the concert. Now I told them, you better FaceTime me during my favorite song, right? How many of you love a good concert? It's one of my only hobbies. I love country music. I love to go to concerts. Music makes me feel a certain way, and I love to dance, and I love to be in the front row, and I love to be the one belting out the words to every song. And it's just one of those safe places you can go and dance and scream and be crazy, and you can do it sober, and you're not going to look like you're crazy, right? But I really want to do it with my girls. Like, I really want to do it with my family. And I haven't been. And the tour is going and going and going. Yesterday, when I was at the event, Chance was like, Mom, you're so disciplined. There's one in Baltimore. Let's go to Baltimore. Now, I want to tell you guys how my brain works, right? I know what I want, and I know what makes life worthwhile. And I know my economic plan, and I know what my big, scary, hairy goals are. And I'm not letting my foot off the gas because I'm creating a life of momentum. So if I'm going to go and do that, I'm going to travel to a place that I could do a meeting, build my business, have time with the people that I'm building an empire with, write it off. It's a complete write-off. Take them, and maybe I'll go see Morgan Wallen July the 18th in Baltimore, Maryland. Like, that seems like it would make sense. But I'm not going to go to the concert on a night that I could be doing a meeting because I'm so focused on my goals. Now, some of you are going to say, Barb, you're sick. Maybe I am, but I have some sick goals. Guys, I have some goals that most people would say that you're crazy. I know what makes my life worthwhile. I know what makes my life work well. I know my economic plan. I know where I want to go. I know what I want to see, and I know what I want. Most of you do not know what you want. So you got to want something so bad that you'll actually fight for it. As Les Brown says, stay up day and night for it. He talks about your blood, your sweat, your tears. And the reality is most of you don't have that. So you feel stuck. You like to have conversations that are meaningless conversations. They actually don't help you grow. They stop abundance coming to you. You hang out in circles where people tear down others. They don't build them up. They think we got to blow their candle out or ours isn't going to burn brighter. I don't even want to be in those rooms. Even when I'm at a huge event like I was last weekend, there's a lot of meetings after the meetings and people in the lobby. I call them the shit stirrers, right? Sometimes there are these people that just sit in the lobby and they want to talk about everyone and everything. And there's other people in the lobby that actually say, let me buy you a coffee. I would love to pick your brain. I admire what you're doing. Let's strategize this. And so you got to pick your room. You got to pick your room, your table, and your people. At my age in life, I'm not messing around. I know what I want. I know where I want to live. I know who I want to be around. I know how I feel when I'm around certain people, and I know how I feel when I'm around other people. So let me ask you a really hard question. I love it. Sabrina says, let's do it. July 18th in Baltimore. I literally called Jenna Tomer yesterday and said, if we were there, could we get someone to help with Rose? Because my little granddaughter, Rosie, would not do well in a loud concert. But Lola, she would be on my shoulders. And I was like, could I really make this happen? Here's the question. What gets you excited? What gets you so pumped that you can't even sleep at night? Like, you don't even want to stop and go to bed. You're like, it's midnight. I've got to go to bed. I'll get back on this in the morning. And then you wake up in the morning and you're like, I can't wait for today. It's going to be so good. Do you know that more than 50% of your life and your hours and your day is spent working? Isn't it sad that so many people are doing something that they hate? They don't even know themselves, right? So I want to ask you a question. Where do you want to live? Drop in the comments. If money was no object, you could do and be and have anything you wanted, where would you want to live? Second question. How much income do you need to make? And a lot of people, they're going to say an amount, and it's just enough to get by. And I'll tell you something. Last month, you had just enough to get by. And this month, you're going to have just enough to get by. So sometimes you have to want more. You have to be more, do more in order to have more, but you have to set a goal that's like, we could really do this. So some of you know, I have went dream building and drove around the lake every day since I've lived here for 4 years. And we live here part-time, not because we bought a big crib on the lake, because we bought a rental property every year for 3 years. It's a tax write-off. It's an Airbnb. I can go where my husband wants to be all the time, write all of it off, not have to pay in so much in taxes, have fun, help other people have vacations where they come and stay in our houses and they have fun. Think about that. And I can build a real estate empire. So some of you don't even think about this, but you have the money. You're just not spending it in the right places. You actually have the time. You're just not spending it on the right things. And you don't have a plan. So your plan is not working. But if we could dream build for just a minute, and you could vision cast where you want to be, what you want to do, where you want to live, how much you'll need to make, what kind of a house it would be like. You could manifest, you could dream it up and see it come to fruition just like that if you would, but most people won't. And here is why. How do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about yourself? Do you feel confident? Do you feel worthy? Do you feel powerful? Do you feel empowered? Do you feel talented? Do you feel bold? Do you feel like you have value to bring? Or are you playing small, like a little wet puppy that just came in out of the rain? You're just going to roll around on the carpet and you're going to go over in the corner and you're going to hide your little face because you're wet. And you're going to look all the big dogs out there that are doing it, and they're doing it big. And you're just over here like a little wet wimp puppy dog. Well, you got to have some, we're going to call it big dog energy, right? I learned a word this week, BDE. I had no idea what it was, but big dog energy. Let's call it that, right? How many of you need some big dog energy? Well, the reality is your philosophy creates your life. And some of you need a whole new philosophy about who you are and the value you have and what you bring and what you deserve and what you could do if you were just in the right room with the right people and you had the right opportunity, you had the right mentor and a little bit of discipline, just a little bit. How you feel about yourself is everything. So what do you think you should get done in a week? Like, what could you see yourself getting done between now and next Saturday? Because I'm going to help you that. How much money could you save? How much debt could you pay down? How many hours, let me ask you this, are you spending on your own financial freedom instead of just your 9 to 5 on somebody else's financial freedom? Because that's a problem. That's the biggest problem. People will go to work where they have to be disciplined, come home and have no discipline. And when Dave and I first got started, we worked. We had 5 businesses. We were not full-time in this industry. I had 3 babies to feed and a whole bunch of diapers to change and a lot of bottles to wash. And one was on breast milk. One was on soft baby food. One was eating table food. And my husband, the worst, pickiest eater at the time, I had to always have like 4 different things planned. And I did it. And I did it like a boss. I did it in the closet with a rotary phone. I did it hiding in the playroom under all the stuffed animals so I could entertain my kids and still close a lead. I wanted it so bad. I had discipline. And here's the reality. I went without a new outfit. I went without a new car until I earned a free car. I went without filet mignon and nights that we had date nights. Our date nights were like, let's go to the lake and float around on a fishing boat. Let's go to the park on Tuesday when no one else is there. Roll out a blanket and have a picnic. Life is what you make it. It doesn't have to be a flex on Instagram for you to become wildly successful, financially free. And I want you to say this with me. I'm right on time and I'm ahead of the rest. Quit comparing your story to someone else's story because they're not the same. They're not even remotely the same. And the big question that you got to ask yourself with someone else that you're comparing yourself to, how much have I failed? How much have they failed? Because the more failure, the more success. And some people are just afraid to fail, so they're going to stay stuck. Oh, I can't do that. We wouldn't have insurance. Oh, I can't do that. I couldn't afford that. Oh, I can't go to that event. It's too far. Oh, there's no way I could go on that cruise. Who would watch my kids? Take your kids. Take your kids. Quit saying airfare's too high. Drive it. Take the whole family. That's what we did. Make a commitment and discipline yourself to actually go for your dreams. Not just think about your dreams, but actually go for them. How much money do you have saved? Because a lot of people are not living below their means. When you're living below your means, you're living on 30 to 40% of what your income is. You're saving 10%. You're tithing 10%. Now we're at 50%, right? And then you take 30%, no more. And that is your mortgage, your house, your insurance, property taxes, all of that, no more ever. Here's what people do. They start making an income and they got $7,000 a month. So they get a $3,000 a month mortgage and a $2,000 a month car. And then they wonder why they can't live on $2,000. They're not tithing. They're not saving. They don't have confidence in their economic plan. And they're in a scarcity mentality all the time. And I want to tell you something. Scared money don't make money. Money will not flow to a scarcity mindset. And if it does, it'll sabotage and go away. Here's what I want to help you do. Make money, save money, invest money, keep money, and grow money. And most people don't know how to do any of that. They make money and they spend money. They make money and they spend money. I am the most frugal person that you're ever going to meet, unless it comes to my kids and grandkids. And let me tell you, they make the world go round. And I've bought so many Neatos and so many squishies. This week I bought a bassinet. Like the only time that I really spend frivolously is because I don't have a lot of self-control when it comes to grandkids, but they're only going to be little for a minute, right? I'm only going to need a bassinet for 3 months. And then I'm only going to have a little toddler of that grandchild for 4 years. And then they're only going to be in school with sports for the next 10 years. And then what, right? So you got to think, look at your checkbook, look at your time, and look at your calendar, and you will see what's the most important things in your life. But one of the things that I will tell you is I do have discipline, and I do love my kids and grandkids, but they will tell you if they're with Grandma Barb and we're at the lake house, Grandma Barb's on a Zoom at the lake house. If we're on the boat and somebody needs me, Grandma Barb's taking the call on the boat. I have time that I carve out, like last night, 5 to 9, today at 5 o'clock to 9. But when I'm not spending quality time with family, I'm spending quality time building an empire with people. And I want to challenge you. Do you time block? Do you run the day or does the day run you? Because how you run the day is how it's going to run your entire life. And if I do have a weakness, I do look at my phone at midnight and I do worry about people. And I do try to respond and I do return calls because those people are the number one asset in my life. Without those people and taking care of those relationships, that's my biggest asset. I wouldn't have the time with my family. You got to be grateful for what you have. And you got to do that in the very beginning. Be smart about the way you spend your time, because time is money. So I asked you, how much money do you have saved? And here's the next question. If the answer to that was zero, this week I learned 46% of Americans don't even have $500. That's a problem. And I'm going to cuss right now. You need to sell some shit. You need to sell some shit in your house, and you need to put some money so you have 2 or 3 months of cushion if your income went away. Because when you have money saved and you know, I don't have to worry, I have 3 months of income saved, you operate differently. People make decisions sometimes that are dumb decisions based on a lack of money. And if you have to make a decision where you're going to work, what you're going to do, what company you're going to join, if you're going to make a move, if you're going to invest, if you're going to get a real estate property or some whatever it is that you're dreaming about based on, oh, I don't have the money. What if the economy goes bad? Well, I don't know. I don't feel very safe. You guys, security is important. Security is important, but faith without a risk is a contradiction. If God puts a dream in your heart and you don't act on it, shame on you. Any of you saw the Michael movie, the new movie about Michael Jackson? Any of you that don't know, we had an entire room themed in our house, Michael Jackson, the whole time Callie was growing up. And we had a Michael Jackson obsession going on, right? Crazy how today her name is Callie Jackson. I think she manifested that since she was born. But I watched the movie. I loved the movie. Did you guys watch the movie or didn't watch the movie? I was wishing it showed more of his adult life, but now I'm just excited that there's probably going to be a second movie. Here's the other thing. None of us know what's true. You know, the media and movies. I hope the good parts were true. I hope the bad parts weren't true, but I kind of think they were. But it's a movie, right? So we have to have some discernment here. But I always try to get a takeaway, and I don't watch movies. I've seen like maybe 5 movies in my whole life because I have discipline. I don't watch a lot of TV. And some of you might say, well, Barb, you have to have fun. I do have fun. I love my job. I love what I do. It is so much fun. It's way more fun than watching movies. So I always spend my time building my business when everyone else wants to watch a movie. And even when we are watching a movie, I'm over here like, because I'm so excited about where I'm going and what I'm doing. But we watched that movie, and Lola and I watched it together, and she didn't even know who Michael Jackson was at that time. But my favorite part of the whole movie, and I keep stealing this line, he said, but I got all these good ideas. And they said, Michael, you're never going to get Thriller on MTV. They're never going to put you on there. And he told his agent, and he told the guy that was in charge, here's what's going to happen. I'm about to take over, like move over. I'm about to knock you out. And he had so much confidence. He had some big dog energy, right? He had a dream. He had a goal. And do you know what he said? If I don't act on these ideas, God's going to give him to Prince. And I literally lost my mind laughing. I was like, that is brilliant. I hope he really did say that. I hope he really did feel that. And he took some action, right? King of pop then, king of pop still today. Nobody ever done what Michael Jackson did. So why not you? Why not now? Like, he had all the odds against him. He had abuse. He had people, he had a lot of people saying he couldn't do it. He was comparing himself to all the people that had done it. He was different. And he took his gifts and his talents and he said, I'm going to be different. But he had purpose. Drop in the comments, how many of you, when you think of Michael Jackson, you think about purpose? I think about kids. I think about pets, animals, dreams. I think about how he made the audience feel. I think about the video, We Are the World, when all of them came together during a really hard time in the world. And I think about the impact. Love him or not love him, the man made impact, right? How could you make impact? Well, in order for you to make impact, you have to get better. When you grow, everything in your life will grow. And here's a hard question. I want you to be honest. Everybody right now, don't think about it. Drop in the comments. How many books have you read this year? It's June. How many books have you read this year? I'm going to say for me, probably 15 to 20. I love to read, and I don't sit down and binge read. I read when I'm going to bed. I read when Dave's driving the car. I read when I'm on an airplane. I read when I'm at a hotel and I wake up early. I carve out time so that I can grow because I gotta be great. People are following me, right? Like, what if someone's following me and I didn't know where I was going? That would be disastrous. We would all just be out on a walk, right? So I want to challenge you to read more books. Here's another question. How many podcasts or classes or courses or events where you heard speakers, how many of those would you say you've listened to and taken notes? And for those of you that are with me and we have events, you've probably already had, 20 presentations and classes or more. Every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, we're about to have another one. You're going to get 2 more speakers and classes or 3. You're constantly learning and growing. But how many books you've read, how many classes you have taken, and who are the people around you? So everybody take an inventory. Who are your 5 closest friends? And I love my close friends. So don't take this wrong. I don't judge anyone. I am the oldest of 5. There are about 30 grandkids. We all live in a little small town in Kansas. Nobody ever left except Callie and Chance. There's some great grandkids. There's some aunts and uncles, and they're all within 3 to 4 hour radius. Like, there's a lot of people, and I love them all. Love my family. But there's power in proximity. And thank God our mom is a serial entrepreneur and she's always pushing, right? But some of you don't have that environment. You don't have that advantage. Now, I will tell you, sometimes in a small town, there's a lot of talk going on that's not going to elevate me. It's not going to build my business. It's not going to empower my mind. I don't watch the news. I don't want to know what's on the news. And the biggest pet peeve I have is when I'm in an airport getting ready to board and they have the stupid news blaring right above the seats, or in a restaurant. I will avoid a restaurant with good food and eat crap food before I'm going to go sit in a sports bar and watch CNN, because, oh my God, it's way more dangerous what goes in my head than I would rather take a shot at whiskey and know it was poison than have to sit in front of a TV and watch fake news, because nothing is a guarantee, right? Who are your closest friends? What is their average income? If you were to take all the people you're hanging around and say, this is their average income, just do the math, what you think it is, that will be your income. There's no way around it. It's the laws of the universe. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You need to go get in a room where you would actually be pushed to be better, right? If I'm the wealthiest girl in the circle, I better go get in another circle or I'm never going to grow. I can serve, I can love, I can train and teach and mentor that circle, but you're either growing or you're dying. There's no in between. So who are the people around you? And what are they doing to you? And here's the hard question. Is that okay? Some of you need to create an eviction notice right up here, raise the rent, kick them out. They are not your problem. They are not your coach. They are not your mentor. They are not your future. They are people that you love. They are people that you love. So let's set your sail in some winds that are going to take you where you want to go instead of just letting the winds blow upon us. Let's learn from our successes, but let's also learn from our failures. And I think the best way for you to establish a new philosophy, a new personal philosophy where objectively you're going to come to the conclusions that you've drawn about life right now and say, are these really true? Or do I need a new philosophy? Because the best way to counteract misinformation that's been put in here is to put in new information and retrain your brain. I want you to observe the successes of other people. What do they do? How do they act? What are their daily methods of operation? And I want you to study the people that do really well and say, each of us can do and be and have whatever we dream of if we will do what others do, be where others are being, right? Actually do the sweat equity work, but change our mindset. Because the hardest question I've asked you today is not where you want to live and not how much money you want to make and where you want to go. But the hardest question is, how do you feel about yourself? So I'm going to tell you how to feel better about yourself. Read everything you can. You can listen to a podcast, you can listen to an Audible, but when you read it, your brain processes it different and you will become a different person. There are 2 books that I read early on. One was Think and Grow Rich. And Think and Grow Rich gave me a different philosophy. It was old school, Napoleon Hill. A lot of that book wasn't even published because they were so worried that the Christian people would have him arrested, that it was some new age kind of thinking, or it was crazy. My husband, Dave, bought all the red book. There's 12 volumes of success for $3,000 or $4,000. And then we bought a set for my son and I'm a believer, guys. If you know me, you know I am a believer. But Napoleon Hill really dissected what are the success secrets of the wealthiest of the wealthy. One of the number one things he said is who you marry has a lot to do with your success in life. Do you know what? Dave Pitcock is definitely my soulmate, definitely my partner for life. But God, it was so in alignment the way that God brought him into my life. I can allow him to go be and do and have whatever makes his boat float, and it does. It's fishing. It was hunting. It was taxidermy for a while, sports. He loves women's softball. I've sat in the living room every day last week and watched him freaking out about a softball game. And I don't really love softball, but I love watching what gets him excited, right? He loves watching what gets me excited. And the sexiest thing about a man is being able to protect and encourage a powerful woman. The sexiest thing about you as a woman is being able to encourage and build up and empower and serve and love your husband. When you don't have that, you can get on every training call this week. But if you don't take a date night and you don't have fun with the person that you love and you don't fix whatever's in your home first, your success is going to be on sand. Because one relationship not nurtured that was the most important relationship, is your success going to be worth it? Let's say that I built an empire and I had no close relationship. I didn't help empower my grandkids. That wouldn't be a legacy, because one day I would die and everything would collapse because they wouldn't have the strength to continue it on. I'm teaching them discipline, delayed gratification, a work ethic, personal growth. We all listen at the same time to the same podcast in the same car, and we talk about it. The other day, me and Lola were on a live stream and we were catching lightning bugs. And I said, oh my gosh, you're so funny. Your video is going to go viral. You're going to be an influencer. She said, what's an influencer? And we laughed. Last night, we did Get Ready for Bed with Me. We never post our videos, but we make videos every night. And we were using our products, Getting Ready for Bed. Drop in the comments, how many products do you think in our product line we used just getting ready for bed? Because I didn't even know we had this many to get ready for bed with. I guess I never counted them, but she does, and it was a dozen. I was blown away. I was like, I should have her do the training, how to use this 12-step process to have a restful sleep and look great and feel great and change your vibration and your mental and put on your red light mask and get everything drained out of your limbs. Like, we could have done an entire training, and she's learning what she lives. The most important thing is not the money you make or what everyone sees on social media. It's what the people in your own home see every single day. So you got to be observing and listening. How do they feel? What are their dreams? What are their goals? What is it about you that they love? What is maybe something about you that you could get better at so that everybody felt better? And you got to be willing to take constructive criticism. I hired a coach this week and I said, give me some constructive criticism. And the one area that I know that I can get better at is scaling and communication. And some people would be so defensive, right? But I want to be the best. How can I communicate better? How could I really make more people feel loved and valued and celebrated and heard? I would never want anyone to not feel that. But at my level, if I'm going to spend 2 hours a day on myself and 3 hours a day with my family, and then I know that that's 5 hours a day, and I'm going to have another 5 to focus on my business. If I have 5 hours of the day that I'm literally focused on my business, or 4, it varies. How am I going to reach everybody and solve problems and vision cast and the inventory and the training and the planning and all the hard things in 5 hours? How am I going to do that? Well, for some of you, you got to get up earlier. And I know that when I'm in the 5 a.m. club, I got everything done before people wake up. When I'm not, the day runs me. So you've got to look in the mirror and say, what can I do to discipline, not make fast decisions that are dumb impulse buys, not spend my money on things I don't need to impress people who probably don't care anyway? What could you do to have discipline? Invest in yourself, invest in the event, invest in the course, invest in the business, the real estate, whatever it is that you're building, and be disciplined. And don't neglect. You know, a lot of people used to hear the phrase, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And that's when I was like 5 years old. I don't hear that phrase a lot anymore. Now I hear an apple has too much sugar and changes the glycemic level, just like a yogurt parfait. When I've been eating apples, oatmeal, and a yogurt parfait thinking I was going to be healthy for so long, right? I know people that eat crappy, but they're very healthy. And I know people that eat healthy, but their health is really crappy. And a lot of it has to do with their frequency, their vibration, their quest for life. And if you know you're going to work half of your life, you better find something you love, something that you can get absorbed in. And your purpose is so big that you think about it when you're going to bed. You think about it when you wake up. You can't wait to do it. You never get tired of it. You're not going to burn out because it's your burning desire. Now, you got to have some fun. You got to go to that Morgan Wallen concert at some point, but maybe not today. Maybe not last year. You know, I was on the phone with one of my good friends, Jenna Tomer, yesterday, and she goes, didn't you cancel Kenny Chesney last year? And I was like, I did. I gave the tickets to my sister and my nieces. And she's like, didn't you cancel Keith Urban the year before? I said, I did. I gave the tickets to Ross at Vision 99, and him and his family were front row. Keith Urban, can you imagine? Front row, Kenny Chesney, seeing my sister and her girls, all of them loving it in Omaha. But I want to tell you what happened for me. I missed the concert, but I didn't miss the mark. When I do go, I can get the suite. I can get the backstage experience. I can pay cash, not put it on a credit card. I can go an extra day. In fact, I told Dave, Ella Langley is on Friday night and Brooks and Dunn is on Saturday night. Could I go to both if I go to Baltimore? And then my next thought was, how many people could I get in a meeting? If I could hit my goal, I'm going to reward myself and I'm not going to feel guilty about it. But I'm very goal driven. Are you? Are you? Or do you need to get better at your discipline? So I'm going to challenge you. I have some notes here. 10 things that I want you to do to challenge yourself. 10 steps. Number 1, if you will change, everything will change for you. You got to be willing to change. Number 2, spend your time on the things that count. And I know some of you have PTSD from a previous company where you couldn't watch movies and you couldn't have time off and you always felt guilty. I'm not trying to make anyone feel guilty. I'm just saying, spend your time and your money on the things that count, because compound interest is real when you're investing. So is your time and your money when you are growing. And you're either growing or you're dying. When you're watching something, say, am I watching this for entertainment because I work so hard and I can go to the concert and just jam out and do the things I want? I can binge watch a Netflix series. Or are you doing it because you're bored and you're trying to numb something or feel a certain way because you don't have your purpose and your passion yet? That's what I want to draw out. I don't want to shame you for watching TV and movies or Netflix or going and playing golf every day or video games or whatever it is. But if you had something that was really your burning desire, you would think about that more than what you're doing to pass the time. Some of you are just bored with life and you're trying to be entertained. I'm going to challenge you, find your purpose and spend your time and your money on the things that count. Number 3, don't spend too much time or too much money on the things that don't count. Look at all of your Apple ID. Look in your Apple ID. Look at all of your subscriptions. Look at all the apps that you've downloaded that you pay for that probably don't even matter. Look at all the things. You know what I do? I just cancel my card and I go get a new one. So nothing will clear on it unless I get a notice that it needs to clear. And I do this like every 4 months because I'm no different than you. I'll be laying in bed. Oh, it's a new AI app. Oh, it's a video editor. Oh, this will help me. I subscribed to an RV place where we could be in our RV. Nowhere was the best RV park. Dave doesn't even want to go anywhere in the RV. And here I am on a monthly subscription, right? RVs for sale. If anybody wants a beautiful diesel pusher that looks like Keith Urban would pull up in it, but it's actually could have been Barb, but it's not going to be. Don't spend too much money on things that don't count. You've got to have some discipline. Number 4, instead of getting through the day each day, what can you get from the day? Some of you know we have a little 3-year-old granddaughter that it's a lot. She brings more joy to my life than anything I've ever experienced, but it is a huge responsibility. And she's a lot every single day because of her condition. But I never wake up and say, it's so overwhelming. I never wake up and say, oh my goodness, this is a lifelong journey. I never wake up and say, I wish that things were different. I never wake up and wonder why it is the way it is. I get from her so much. I watch her in awe. She's always happy. Never heard her cry until her ear surgery, maybe February. Never heard her cry, ever. She just smiles. She just laughs. She just does little things like, and she does this, and she just smiles, and she just laughs. And, you know, some people would feel like a victim, but not me. I say, this is the greatest gift that God could have ever given our family. And what can I do with so much purpose and so much passion to give her the most incredible quality life of love and support? And I believe in miracles. And I know every single day, if God allowed it, there's a reason. And we're all learning and growing with this beautiful little girl. I want you to say, what can you get from the day? I look at what can I get from her? My little 8-year-old granddaughter, Lola, Chance is homeschooling her. And I love watching her learn. I love watching her spell. I love watching her get frustrated when I try to help her with the answer and she doesn't want the answer because she's so independent. Yesterday, she got a bedazzler. Today, she's bedazzling my glasses. Yesterday, she did Dave's. She did the light switch. Guess what? It might not be the color scheme of the lake house. And I don't care because I'm not worried about everything being perfect. I'm worried about how she feels. I want you to quit worrying about, is your house clean? Is everything perfect? Does the color scheme match? Is there going to be a stain on the floor? Live a little bit, right? One of the reasons I didn't want a brand new Escalade, and my friend Sabrina said, get the new Escalade and just put plastic on it. And maybe eventually I will, because I am going to have a dependable car if I'm going to be on the road by myself. But I mean, she gets in there with her little snacks and they're everywhere. I don't want to be the grandma that has to get mad if there's snacks in the floor. If the bottle falls off and the sour milk gets in the carpet, I don't care. Because life is too short to worry about spilled milk. I'm just going to get it cleaned once a week, right? And we're going to wear it out. We're going to drive the wheels off that thing because I'm more worried about how they feel than impressing the people when I pull up next month to a platinum event with all the 6-figure earners and all the top leaders in the company. I'm going to be the girl that's living below my means and telling them, live below your means until you can pay cash. Because there is nothing worse than debt. There is nothing, unless debt is making you money. There's assets and there's liabilities, and that's a whole nother training. But let me finish with these last 5. Number 5, take charge of your own life. Who's putting a lid on you? Why are you letting them put a lid on you? Take charge of your own life. I have a nephew. 3 of them graduated. One's going to a football scholarship. One's going to K-State to be a Wildcat. She's going into culinary and baking. And the other one, they all 3 grew up together. Can you imagine 3 nieces and nephews all born within months of each other? And the third one, so there's Trey is going on a football scholarship. He's a beast. He's a race car driver too. Maddie is the number 1 cook in our family. Like, she's amazing. She's following her dreams, probably going to own a big bakery someday, going to be a Wildcat where my kids went. And then Slade is like, I want to be a millionaire. I don't want to go sit at college. I don't even know what I would do. He was going to be a pilot. He didn't want to go into debt, $200,000. What's the future of flights? Who knows? There might be robots flying us around soon. Then he was like, I could do paintless dent repair, but I don't want to be that strenuous on my eyes, right? And then I said, you should get a trade. People in a trade make so much money. He joined our company. He said, that shit's hard. Aunt Barb, that's hard. I said, no, it's not hard. You just got to get around the right people. You can't be going to people that want to go smoke weed, go to the bar, hang out, have a hangover on Saturday morning and think they want to be a millionaire with you. They don't, right? They want to chill. You got to get around the right people or you'll be very frustrated because you can't teach a pig to sing. It just annoys you and it frustrates the pig. You've got to get around the right people. So yesterday I told him what Jim Rohn told me when I was a very young girl. You're not a tree. You can move. And he came here to the lake for 2 days and he got his Google page. He got his business card. He did a before and after of our boat and it was crazy good. Took away all the mildew, the mold, all the things. He took the before and afters. You got to go look it up. It's, oh my gosh, I'm going to drop, everybody go like his page. I'll just give him a little plug here. I'll drop the comments in the page, but it's like Grand Lake Detailing. Grand Lake Detailing. It's just a business page on Google. And then he's got a fan page on Facebook, but shared it in the boaters group. Yesterday, we're pulling out of our dock and our neighbor is the guy that gets every product into Walmart. He's always telling me, let's put your product in Walmart. I said, never, never, never put my product in Walmart. Even though I know a guy, never put my product in Walmart because I want to empower people, independent distributors, not just, at Walmart. But he's pulling out in his bass boat. He wins all the tournaments here. And I said, this is my nephew. He just moved here. He details boats. And our boat's like 24 foot and his yacht's like 44 foot. And he says, how much you charge? You want to do mine? Then reached out to the guy that owns the biggest boat shop, told him he's very entrepreneurial. He's disciplined. He cleaned my whole boat in the heat. And the boat shop owner said, I could give him a ton of work. He could come here, but he doesn't want to go work for someone. He wants to set his own sail. And you guys, if an 18-year-old can move to somewhere where he knows nobody and make $1,000 a week, you can find 4 or 5 people to get in alignment with you and you can do it too, part-time. I don't care if you do Uber, Airbnb, you clean houses, you walk dogs, you poop, scoop in people's backyards, and you have a magnet on your truck that says, let me come scoop the poop out of your backyard. Every single one of you can make an extra $1,000 a week, and you can if you will. I believe in leverage. I believe in direct sales. I believe it's the best way for the average person to make that kind of money. But my way isn't the best way for everyone. So you do what you believe you enjoy. So every day is a good day, not a work day. Taking charge of your own life was number 5. Number 6, repetition is the labor of skill. You got to do it over and over and over again if you want to get good at it, fail forward, and don't be afraid to do it messy and wrong. Number 7, put yourself in an activity plan, a daily method of operation, whether it's wake up, make your bed, go to the gym, whether it's wake up, take your products, go live, put it in your stories, put yourself through a daily method of operation and know that you have an activity plan. Have a calendar. You've got to have a calendar. How are you going to plan where you're going to be if you don't know where you're going or when you're going to get there? Get a planner and work that planner. Yesterday, when I asked my little nephew, what is your goal? He was hesitant to say. I said, say it. Tell me what's your goal. And he said it, and Chance goes, dude, you could do that in a day, not a week. Here's the thing. He got around some people that believe that he can do it, and he is going to crush it because he believes that he can do it. You got to get around people who are building you up, not tearing you down. And number 8, you got to clean up neglect. What are you neglecting? Your finances, your health, your yard. If you plant a garden and you neglect it, you're going to get weeds. I can't imagine what my backyard looks like right now in Kansas because it's been raining and raining and raining. And I had a new grandbaby, went there for 2 weeks, touchdown for one night. We mowed it. Then I went to speak at the A&MP, thought I would be home on Friday. Transmission went out, car went in the shop, got a rental car. Now I'm going to be here for a week. If you don't tend to things, you better have somebody tending to them because neglect is going to show up in your life and it's not good. You neglect it for a little bit. You don't realize the whole thing is falling down until it's gone because of neglect. What are you neglecting? Clean up neglect. Number 9, spend more money on the inside of your head than on the outside. I colored my own hair 2 weeks ago. And when Slade walked in the house, he goes, Barb, that's ghetto. You can afford to go get your hair done. Why do you have a hair color all over your face? I said, saves me time, saves me money. I'll go every so often. I'm not afraid to color my own hair. Who are you talking to, right? What can you do that you can spend more money on your inside, an event, a book, a podcast, a retreat, a coach, a mentor, than you do on the lashes, the hair, the nails, the tan? I got to have all that too, right? Sometimes it's my husband putting my lashes on. But the reality is I'm spending time investing in my personal development. And number 10, remember this. Time is more valuable than money. You can always make more money, but you're never going to get this time back. Today, my little grandsons are flying in on a plane from Arizona. I cannot tell you the joy that is in my heart. I am not doing calls on Monday. One that I committed to Stacy Hall. That's it. I am not doing calls on Monday. I am not working all day on Sunday. I'm working so I can play. And when those little kids land, they are going to know it's grandma camp. I am going to be full throttle making their dreams come true. And I want to tell you guys something. Time is the most valuable thing you can give to the people that love you. Quality time with them. Get off your phone. Quit doom scrolling. Be where you are. Be present. Observe. Listen. Love. Give to others, and it's going to come back to you tenfold. So I hope you guys got some stuff from today. I gave you 10 ways to challenge yourself. I also asked you about 10 hard questions. And if you will do the work, I will promise you can do and be and have anything you dream of. That's all I got. Drop in the comments what was your takeaway today. Please let me know. That's all I'm asking. Would you just hit save, share, save it, share it, follow, comment. That's all I'm asking you. This is free coaching. And let me tell you, I paid a lot to get this info put in my head, and I'm giving it back to you for free. So love a share, love a comment, love a follow. Share this with someone you think could get something, and let's make it an incredible week. I love you guys.